Hello and welcome to another episode of Blue Collar American. I'm Aaron, and this is my buddy.
And Paul, how's it going, everybody?
Great to see you again. Thanks for joining us. We are really glad that you've decided to join our channel and continue to see what we've got to talk about as we sit here and opine together as old men. But before we get going,
Emphasis on old, yeah.
old. Oh, the light shows off all of our gray hair.
You know, I heard something really cool today. I was listening to it was a musician, and I'm trying to remember his name now. Toby Keith.
Oh,
he's suffering with stomach cancer right now. He has been since like 2019 or 20. I can't remember which, but he was diagnosed with it, and he said that one of his best friends is Clint Eastwood. And he said that he was visiting with Clint Eastwood on the golf course, and Clint Eastwood said to him, "I can't let the old man catch me."
Yeah, that's cool.
And so Toby Keith wrote that song about the old don't let the old man catch me.
Oh, interesting.
And so, but yeah, emphasis on old. But we're not going to lame catches today.
Saw a photo of Toby Keith, and I didn't know what was going on. He looked really skin and bones.
Stomach
sadly.
cancer, still fighting it.
I hope he beats it.
Yeah,
cancer sucks, man. I hate cancer.
Got that right.
Both my parents have had a bout with it themselves, so
yeah,
I have to keep an eye on my colon because of that.
Well, I think it's something that we all need to keep an eye on more and more anyway, because our environment is
working against us.
It's not just natural anymore. You know, there's microplastics and macroplastics and chemicals and forever chemicals and all kinds of stuff now.
Yeah, and all the things, GMO and...
We just have to make sure that this stays pure.
Stays pure and helps us stay pure by drinking it.
That's right.
Alcohol is the cause of and solution to
all of life's problems. That's right.
Well, today we're going to be sipping on Payette's Mutton Buster, which is not available in stores. I was able to pick this up. It's a brown ale. Pick this up at Payette when my wife and I were in Boise. I've made lots of mention of that. So these are my last 2 cans of a 6-pack that I picked up. So I can't wait to get back to Boise and pick up some more of this.
I'm really digging
quite delicious.
The little Idaho.
Oh, I didn't even notice
symbol
that.
in the
barcode.
barcode
has the Idaho state reversed out of it. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I love Payette. They're really good. If you guys get a chance and you're in Boise, Idaho, you should stop by their brewery. Excited to try this.
Absolutely. They have a lot of really good beers. I don't think I've ever had anything, nor have you, that you didn't like.
They had one that I absolutely adored that they discontinued.
Right.
It's got a great color. Turn it this way. It's not Wind River. There you go. That kind of gives you an idea of the color.
Yeah, nice brown.
Mm-hmm.
Looks rather dark on the camera, but there's maybe I'll get in front of the light here. There we go. Kind of see through that little amber action there.
Has a very pleasant smell. Not what I would expect with a brown.
Fresh.
Mm. Mm.
I'm telling you can't go wrong with browns and ambers. They are spectacular. They're easy to drink, both in cold and warm weather.
That's nuttier than I remember it.
Macadamia.
You guys got to try this one. That's a good beer.
Well, you got to go out to Boise to try it, sure.
That's a fantastic beer. They used to sell it here, because I did try it here. They had it at the Maverick over on Lincoln and
Well, I haven't looked at any of the local shops to go check that stuff out, but I went looking on their website and I couldn't find it. So then after we had come home.
Interesting.
So they're not publishing that. The other one that you're talking about that you had that you can't get a hold of anymore. Rodeo, yeah, because I remember the pistols. Yeah. There was a sign for it at Payette, but I couldn't find it in the refrigerators. I was going to bring you home some, but I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
And it's a version of a pale ale, I believe.
It is. Yep, it is. And it's strong, but it's a good strong, you know. I really enjoy the hoppiness. And so if they ever, I hope they come back with it. But I talked to them over there and they said, "Yeah, we discontinued that when I went over and visited with them." So I was pretty disappointed.
Molassesy sweetness to that.
It's good.
To the end of the swallow.
I really like it. That's good.
A little bit of effervescence, and wow.
Yeah, that's good.
That's full-bodied, but still light enough. That's very refreshing.
If I had to criticize anything about it, it would be after it's gone down, it sits for a minute, that there's like a taste in the back of your throat that you get from it. But I think that might have to do with that molasses that you're talking about.
There's some sort of a
Because I picture,
spice,
I
maybe,
picture if I took a teaspoon of molasses and ate it, I would end up with
with that
with
same
something like that.
aftertaste.
So, but other than that, it's very delightful. It's lovely. I love it.
Yeah, it's quite good.
Very, very good. So, well, I got my shoes off today. I'm prepared.
Man, look at him.
That's right. Yeah.
Nice and comfy.
So what's going on in your world?
Man, we were just briefly talking before we turned the cameras on. I'm just trying to overcome and take charge of my own mind right now. I'm struggling with being fearful of what's coming next week, even though that should bring me absolute joy. My new job starts on Monday, and it's a serious change from anything I've ever had before.
I'm
is finding myself being overwhelmed, and I'm having a hard time sleeping at night, and I had to go in and do a bunch more fingerprints and photos and another federal background check. So that makes 3 to get my badge. That comes in 6 to 8 weeks, so I have to have a temporary badge. Then they're going to have to figure out how to hook up, because they use the badges to initiate your laptop.
Okay.
And so it apparently you stick it in the little reader, and then all of a sudden your laptop's logged in. I did ask for a Mac. They said that maybe we'll talk about it, but it takes a long time to get those approved. But it'll be a PC.
So it's mostly PC work then. So you got, that's like all kinds of change then.
A lot of change.
Because you're going from something that you've kind of, for a long time now.
Man, it's been 20 plus years that I've been a designer in the private sector or the freelance sector. And as we're kind of being able to all this, everything on the Mac, you know, and
you kind of been able to make your own schedule. You've kind of been able to,
Yep.
So what's that? So what's that feel like?
Even in those corporations, I still was able to come and go as I needed to. Like, I got to take a break. Like, let me just step out, you know. So I'm afraid, because it's going to be out in the middle of the desert, and I don't know what to expect. I don't know what amenities or facilities they've got, because they don't talk about any of that stuff until you're officially onboarded. And so this unknown,
and a lot of it, and a lot of it, you're not going to be able to talk about after you hear about it. So it's like,
that's very true.
I mean, it's going to be like one of those things where it's like, okay, well,
I had my future coworker who started the day after Thanksgiving, because it's now a team of 3. She instant messaged me through LinkedIn and was talking about some of the plans that she and our new boss are putting together this week, so that when the third person and myself start on Monday, that we'll have.
So one of them already started. Okay.
She was already an INL employee, and so it was a lateral move. So she was able to start right away.
No backgrounds, it's nothing.
That's already been done.
She liking it?
I think so.
I guess that's the most important.
I think that it's been, I don't know how to say it, but irregular, even though this is all brand new. But she started right as everybody went away on curtailment, which is when they all go away for the holidays. And so she was kind of there alone a little bit longer than everybody else, because some of them stack up their vacation time to use for more than 1 week off between Christmas and New Year. So they do it early. And then my future boss, actually was out on medical leave until the 17th of January. So she was kind of...
This is Ron?
No, this is the representative, the person that I'll be reporting to at INL officially, the manager of science communications.
Understood. Got it.
And then we will be liaising between her and the MFC counterpart, which is another woman who's like business development or something like that, and she's directly underneath Ron. So it's kind of this like, and we're in the middle, and we have to have these communication liaison things, and so we'll be...
Sounds like government.
Yeah. I mean, and so
We
intellectually,
we need to move the chair from right there to right there. But hang on.
let's form a committee.
We need to form a committee first. We need to find out who's going to pick up the right side of the chair and who's going to pick up the left side of the chair. No, I get it. Yeah.
But it means a job, and
Yeah.
I'm grateful for that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
However, this is
It's nerve-wracking, though.
uncharted territory for me
Yeah.
because, as I told my wife, I've known where I would be and how I would be in my career path since I got out of college.
Yeah.
And you know that in the graphic design world, there's a ladder that you move up, but then there are lateral things that are parallel to that original path. And that technically was what was able to grab onto me to get this job, because marketing and advertising and therefore communications are very similar. And so I think that that's part of the reason why I was able to be qualified, and then my answers, because of my history throughout the last 20 years of just working in that corporate America, were something that were probably appealing to them in that respect. However, this is not something I have confidence to be like, yep, I know how to do this. This is what I went to school for.
Sure.
This is what I've trained for. The sky's the limit at this point. So that's an amazing opportunity, but it's also overwhelming.
Overwhelming and I would imagine scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
It is.
you can't do anything about that. Anytime we have change, we have fear. That's just the way it is. I got a new sticker for my water bottle. I'm not like I've been stickering my water bottle up. I know everybody's doing it, but I got a new sticker for my water bottle. It says faith over fear,
There you go.
and I stuck that on there, and it's just like I don't know why. There's certain things I do every day that I can't explain. Like I'll look at my watch, and it's 10:16, and I'll see that twice a day. And I haven't told you about this, but really weird, really weird that I do that. But 10:16 is my birthday, and so but almost inevitably I'll look at that time twice a day, morning and night. And I don't understand why I do that or how it happens. Because I mean, but about 10:16 every day, I'll look at my watch, and I do the same thing with other things, like, and this is one of them. That sticker I put on my water bottle, faith over fear, and it's, I don't know. Anyway, for whatever it's worth.
Well, I like that. Faith over fear. There's a lot of graphical things that come to my mind already, just
Sure.
about how to make a sticker. But you're absolutely right. We've already talked about this a lot, and that your faith in the one who loves you is the reason why you should not be afraid. And so we talked about this 2 episodes ago, and even a little bit more about it last episode. And yet here I am still struggling with it. And so that's why I said my very first comment is I'm trying to take control of my thoughts. I'm trying to remember the promises, remember the truths, remember who I am, remember the love that I've got out of my family. And yet...
Don't you wish we could just talk about something and it would be fixed?
Right.
That would be so cool.
Right.
And I think about that logically. It's like we've got the biggest brain in the animal kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
We're the smartest one on the planet. And in the solar system, the universe. But we can't just logically look at something and make it happen. Mm-hmm. We've got a rational side and an irrational side, no matter what. Mm-hmm. And it's the reptile brain versus the modern brain. And I always think about that. Why can't I just think this through, understand the answer, and do it? Just be done. But for some reason.
Well, even if you have thought it through and you've come to an answer and a conclusion, and at least for me, I'm not going to project this on anyone else, I will be okay with it, but only momentarily, or only for a very short period of time. And that's what happens usually with me, is when I'm off alone I start second guessing and doubting myself.
Yeah.
I start letting all of the thoughts come and overwhelm me. And I think that that's really what I'm struggling most with. And so it has to be that you talk with somebody or you go out into the world and you interact with people. And that's why I know that it's so healthy for me to get out and go do something, even if that's uncomfortable,
And hard to do. Yeah.
because it distracts me from my very own hiccups, my very own hooks.
Yeah.
And then, usually talking about it always helps, but you can't just talk with yourself. I don't talk aloud. Like, a lot of people do. They process audibly to themselves. I don't.
Yeah. I think a lot of times too, it's it's a hard thing. It's a really hard thing because a lot of times we will talk about things, we talk them through and we keep talking through them. But I think until we actually take steps to do, I told my son this the other day, my middle son, Thomas. He struggles anyway because he has ADHD really bad. And, so he's got some executive function stuff going on and other stuff. But one of the things that his doctor told him and talked to me about that just made so much sense was just little changes. It's so overwhelming when we think of the big picture of things and we start thinking about everything that's going on in our lives. And then we think we've got to change this. I do it in work too. Like I've got 6 deals going on at the same time. I've got to do this for this deal, this for this deal, this for this deal. And I'll start working on this for this deal. Well, each thing takes time. I've got an inspection going here. The inspector calls out this. I've got to do an RE10. Everything's set to and due at a certain date and time. So I'll start working on that. And then I'll be looking at my computer and I'll see an email come through about this other deal that I have over here. And then I go away from that and start working on this deal. Yeah. And if we do that and we don't focus on each spot, none of them ever get done. Mm-hmm. And so I told my middle son, I said, Thomas, and this is going to be cliche because it's, I'm going to take the words right from Jordan Peterson. Everybody knows Jordan Peterson. Well, not everybody. I've talked to a few people that don't, but get 1% better every day at something. Mm-hmm. And I told Thomas, I said, I don't care if you do one single assignment, because he's having a hard time in school right now, in one class. I don't care if you do one single assignment. Focus on that one single assignment tomorrow and get it done. Mm-hmm. And that's it. Don't do anything else. And so he did. He, by himself, he went in for lunch, got all of his assignments, and then he worked on one and got it done.
Nice.
And then the next day he went to school and he did the same thing for history. I didn't even talk to him. And then the day after that, he went in and did something else. And before I knew it, this kid was working on 3 or 4 things that he needed to work on, but he was doing them one at a time.
One at a time.
And so I think if we do that in our thoughts too, and this is just me talking. I'm not preaching to anybody. I'm not trying to tell anybody how to live their life, but it just made a lot of sense to me. If we get 1% better every day and we keep working on things and keep accomplishing our goals and tasks, it's going to happen, And that goes with all of our stuff. I mean,
I do agree.
If we're not prepared, I learned in speech in college, if we're not prepared for the speech the night before, it's going to be unbearably scary and painful and hard the next day.
To your point, as much as I agree with that, that's exactly my dilemma. Is not that I'm resisting the preparation, not that I'm slacking or whatever. It's that I don't know what's next, and so I can't prepare for it. And I think that might be where my hang up here is. I don't know.
So you're thinking about the things that are not yet assigned. You're thinking
and not just projects, but what's my environment? What's the travel time? What's it going to mean for my family that I'm out in the middle of the desert, 45 minutes to an hour away from home every single day? What is it that,
So you really detail
the interpersonal stuff with having to work with people again in a very inclusive environment and you've got to be very careful of what you say. So I think through all those things. And then I think about the fact that I'm now going to have to use a different operating system for a computer system. And I've got to remember what I learned 20 years ago on how to use a PC, and I've been using Macs.
And you've got to upload your own operating system to your own brain on how to operate yourself.
So like think ahead on how to do that and be efficient, because I don't want to come in there and look like a bumbling fool.
Sure.
And yet, then the other silly little things of even in this phone call that I got in regards to the onboarding, she reminded me that, oh, and by the way, it's business casual. Well, I've been wearing jeans and a t-shirt, or jeans and a button-up shirt, untucked, for that long as well.
Yeah.
So to tuck my shirt in, do I wear jeans? Do I not? Is that acceptable in Idaho? I got to remember what that's like in California versus Idaho. What's business casual Idaho versus business casual California? So
sure.
I overthink all these things, and I will again give credit to Charlie Pacheco, our very dear friend.
Sure.
He says you're overthinking it.
Yeah.
Okay. How can I not overthink it when you telling me to not overthink something then makes me think I'm overthinking it? So how do I stop overthinking it?
I think that you
know what I mean? It's this spiral, and it just falls apart in my head, and I
think you do the things you're supposed to do. You find out what time you're supposed to be there, what you're supposed to be wearing, what you're supposed to bring.
And then you just
let the rest go until you get there.
Yeah.
And then you make your list, and then you start on your next set of tasks.
Yeah, I don't want everything to be piled onto me day one and like be expected, and that's not what anyone's going to do, obviously.
Sure.
But I want to do a good job, but I also...
And even if they do, it'll be systematic.
Yeah, because it's systematic. So then I'm thinking through all that. It's like, well, you don't have to worry about all that. They've got a process. They've got a procedure. They've got a manual for that,
Yeah.
Versus everything that I've done in my entire past is me figuring it out as I go. And so my modus operandi has always been figure it out.
Yeah.
Figure it out. No one's going to tell you what to do. Figure it out. Figure it out.
Yeah.
This is the one thing that I don't know how to do, and I don't know what to expect, and I don't know who I'm supposed to really be reporting to, because even the process of what we've been going through here, there's the person on paper that you're supposed to report to, but I don't think we're going to be really working with
them. And you've said before, this whole thing was created
and it's brand
around
new.
an idea that you guys kind of came up with together, and so it's like it's going to be evolving.
So lots of prayers, lots of time in my Bible, lots of just sitting still, being quiet.
Yeah.
My kids keep seeing me come either up in here and watching the TV, or sitting downstairs in front of my TV and just doing something different, just distracting my brain. And I like to watch shows where I see other people working.
Yeah.
So I'm watching the show where it's the Diesel brothers, and so they're building things.
Sure.
And I just love it. And so that just distracts me in a healthy way, because you're seeing something creative and productive and trial and error, and then the glory of it,
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not depressed. I'm just...
Oh, of course not, yeah. You're anxious.
Maybe that's the better
anxious,
word.
Yeah.
The Bible says be anxious for nothing, right? Still the same principle that I'm trying to apply.
It's like you said...
To just let it go.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you said, Aaron. I mean, but we kind of talked a little bit before, like we were saying, talked a little bit before the camera started rolling, but started rolling. That ages myself, right? Oh, my goodness. I can't laugh too hard, so a little bit of a disclaimer. You can tell I'm kind of losing my voice a little bit. I've kind of, this last week and a half, I've been...
late night radio show.
Yeah, this last week and a half, it's just been a lot of running, a lot of going. I think I've been dealing with a little bit of crud, so... but anyway, we were talking a little bit, you went your whole life, really, operating a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Good and bad. I mean, you had a lot of free time. You got to set your own schedule. You got to do your own thing. But a lot of it was by the seat of your pants.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to do that anymore. That's going to be a change. I think if I'm being your friend and I'm telling you to do one thing, I would say concentrate on the good parts that are coming.
Mm-hmm.
And they are. And so I totally hear you though. I'd be doing. I mean, I sit here and tell you that, and I'm thinking to myself, I'd be crapping my pants. I wouldn't be able to handle it either, because
we know how to say it to everyone else, and this is no Nothing bad on what you're saying. I
No.
am hearing you because I've learned through the life that I've had that I have to listen to somebody else tell me.
Yeah.
Because I can't hear it myself saying it. I try. I know. We're ready for another one. We could break out the whiskey.
We could, but I actually happen to bring myself one. I'll
No,
introduce it in a minute.
make it happen.
Go.
The hearing yourself saying it is kind of like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. Sure. It's the deep down in there that is a scared little puppy.
Oh,
Just,
yeah.
and you build up all these walls of protection and education and experience and
I'm going to say something else, too, that I know will ring true with you and our entire audience and everybody on this planet.
mm-hmm.
We're still kids.
We are.
We're still kids, you know?
Yeah.
We're kids in adult bodies. And no matter how old we get, I'll never forget my mom was dating a guy. And when I say my mom was dating a guy, she was in her 70s. He was in his 80s.
Good for them.
They're both gone now, the rest of their souls. But I'll never forget what John was his name. I'll never forget what John told me. He said, I said, boy, time flies. I was just in passing. I was working on his computer for him. And I said, boy, time flies, huh, John? And he says, and he pulled me aside very seriously. And he looked at me. He rose up and he says, faster than you can imagine.
Yeah.
He said, yesterday I was a kid. And today I'm here. And he's right.
Yes.
So we're all kids. We're all still learning. We're all still moving. It's...
And two things to that response. We're all kids. And we spend the majority of our life convincing everyone else that you're no longer a kid, that you're actually an adult.
That's right. That's a great point.
I'm constantly doing that with myself because I see myself still as that 14-year-old boy that...
Yeah.
I just rode my bike here.
Yeah, right.
That's not...
I miss those days.
You know,
I miss those days.
Married for almost 25 years. I've
Yeah.
got 2 adult children, 1 teenage child. I've got children. I've got a house. I've got all these things. Oh, yeah. Wake up.
Yeah.
Responsibility. Oh, and then the weight. But then there's also the joy. It's like, hey, I'm not a child.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we're all children. And yes, we do spend our whole life
Good
convincing
point.
everybody else that we're not a kid. But
We very much are.
there's the Heavenly Father, God,
Yeah.
that doesn't want us to be anything but that and wants us to come to Him. And so again, saying it to the audience, but saying it out loud so I can hear it myself.
That's what we do this for.
Just go run to Him.
We just got cameras in front of us now.
Say, look, Dad,
Yeah.
I'm struggling. I've even thought about calling my dad and just being like, oh, I'm 45 years old, Dad, and I don't know what to do right now.
Yeah. And you know what he's going to tell you.
Gonna
That's
say
the cool.
same thing that I already
He's
know.
going to
It's
say,
just-
let life happen, Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Prepare the best you can, let it happen, and do your best.
And it's so ironic, too, because you get the opportunity to be that kind of figure for somebody else, whether it's your own children or somebody else that's not even related to you. Because even when I went up to my other job, which is still in quite some turmoil right now,
Sure.
speaking with a coworker,
Yeah.
and he's utterly losing his mind, too, because he's still working there every single day, and he still hasn't been paid.
Depending on it.
And he's got his plan B that they're courting him, and I'm like, hello, McFly, do it.
Take it. Take it now.
Move on it. Move your family to another city if that's what they need you to do. If they're offering you a percentage of the company, that means they're serious. Don't. And so I'm not going to go into that whole conversation.
Sure.
But my point being is I had this like out of body experience where I'm standing there looking at myself, telling him what needed to be done, and here's my other self looking at it.
It's funny how we do that, isn't it? It's imposter
I'm like,
syndrome, is what it
hello?
is.
Listen to yourself talking.
Yes. Yeah.
You know yourself.
Yeah.
Nobody else knows this. That you don't know what you're talking about, or that you do know what you're talking about and you're just not listening.
Yep.
And you're not letting it affect your life. So anyway,
Impo-
all of that is to say...
Yeah, imposter syndrome. Yeah.
All that to say is I'm still waiting for that click of, oh, yep, I believe it. It is who I am now, and I'm not going to be afraid. And then you Boldly stand up.
To the story that I told you before, I think maybe I talked about it after we started. I don't know, but I think it was before. It's the handshake. I call it the handshake. And I was a wrestler all my life growing up, and I used to match days would come, tournament days would come, and I'd be puking all day long, right up until I shook the guy's hand on the mat right before the match started. The second I touched his hand, we shook hands. It was just like a big release. And I think I'll bet you anything that happens for you this next week.
I'm sure.
And we'll see what happens. But I think it's going to be, that's what I'm praying for you, is because I think it's going to be a handshake moment. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty heavy, but it's all I can think about right now because I have so much time.
Yeah.
And it becomes a situation where I don't know what else to do other than to just think about it. So I go out and I shovel snow, but now there's no more snow. Go work with the boy in the garage, or go drive somewhere, or whatever the case.
I just went and bought myself some ethanol-free gasoline for my snowblower today.
There you go.
Got a good skiff of snow on the ground here in Idaho today. It was nice and wet, but I have a single-stage snowblower like yours too, and it's mine's newer, and it works great, especially for the slushy stuff. The auger ones, they don't work worth a hoot with that light slushy stuff, but the single stage ones work pretty good. I'm gonna take an EDC break.
Let's do it.
Okay, so because I'm gonna take this EDC break because I actually happened to bring something you can't have because of your gluten intolerance, but I got Sam Adams cherry wheat. It's something I had never seen until the other night, and I grabbed a 6-pack of it because I'm like, I like Sam Adams. I know it's kind of a national beer, and it's not super crafty anymore. That's how they started out, though.
It was.
And it's a cherry wheat. Never had it, so I bought some, took it home, and I had one. Awesome. They're awesome. So I don't know if you can even taste it, being gluten intolerant.
It's just but
they're fantastic.
If I drank a whole one, I'd have a really big bellyache.
So with that being said,
to your EDC,
I've got this handy wallet that we talk about, but in that wallet I have this little guy right here, and this is nothing special. This is an Ozark Trail Walmart special. I got it for like $2 or $3, and I'm telling, it's got a little saw on the side here. It's got a sharp edge right here. I don't know if you guys could see that okay or not. You've got, I haven't even used some of this stuff, but it's got like these little areas here that can do other stuff. I don't even know what it can do yet.
And,
right. But the cool one is this guy right here. So
bottle opener.
You can take this pops right on there. And for these bottles that you can't twist off, does a really good job.
There it is.
And then with Sam Adams, let's see what the word is for the day. Oh, it just says cheers. There you go.
Oh, I didn't realize they had words in their bottle caps.
Yep. So I'm going to pour that right here in the... Well, do you want to... Oh, you still got some. Well, when you're ready for one...
Yeah.
You'll have to try it. This has got a great color, too. I poured it in a glass the other night.
A little bit in the bottom of the bottle, and I'll just...
You got it, yep.
Once I finish this one, then we'll just take a little taste.
There we go. Yep, that's good right there, but there's the color.
Oh, yeah.
Shot everything.
Well, you and your wheat ales,
and
your
the smell, I love them.
Yep. And you always have this kind of like caliber as to this little litmus test as to what they are going to taste like. And so to have one that you're this excited about,
it's good.
Interesting.
And I'm not a fruity. I'm not like a fruity. You and I've talked about this. Unless like the IPAs and stuff. I mean, they've all got citrus in them and stuff. But when it comes to like fruit, like blueberries and cherries, like this has in it and all that stuff, I'm not usually a fan of it. But this one's a little surprising. It really is. So,
does it have the sweetness of a cherry, or does it have the tartness of a cherry, like the sweet fake cherry taste, or is it really like the tartness of the fruit?
It's a little more on the sweet side, I would say, but there is a hint of tartness that comes through with it, and then you combine that with what Sam Adams has going on with their wheat. And I think it's a good combination. I'm excited for you to try it and see what you think. But yeah, smells delightful. Color's great. It's got like a nice.
Yeah, that is a good color.
Got a great nose. It smells a little perfumey.
Yeah.
Cherry perfumey. Oh, it's good. Yeah, I love it. I can't wait for you to try it.
I brought a couple more things for the everyday carry so we can
cool.
talk about. So Apple AirPods, we briefly talked about that
Yeah.
last time. But I got a case for my AirPod case, which is the same brand as my phone, and we've talked about this before. It's by D brand.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a case that goes around the AirPods case. Hopefully that doesn't connect to my phone right now by opening that up. But then they put a skin on it, so it's, you can kind of see in the light right there. This is just a sticker, and I can change that out, but it happens to be the same sticker as I have on the back of my iPhone case. Now, the thing about D-brand cases is they have this like micro texture that is still slippery enough to kind of go in and out of your pocket, no problem, and you can kind of hear that.
Yeah.
But it's also grippy, like a micro grip, and so it's just really spectacular. And so I love this case now. So it kind of protects the white thing. It doesn't make it like a bar of soap in your pocket anymore. Still got some grip to it. So I highly recommend that.
I love D-brand too. You talked me into D-brand on my last phone.
Yep.
I've got.
I haven't done it on this one yet.
It's so funny. I've got a Walmart special on my phone too.
You and your
I got to
Walmart
stop it
specials.
with that. I know, it's crazy. Well, so I got the phone and I was like, okay, I got to get screen protectors and a case on this as fast as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just ran to Walmart to get a gel case and a screen protector. And I love both of them. So I mean, they're doing great so far. But I can't. But I definitely want to. It does block the MagSafe a little bit. So I want to.
This one does that you have currently, yeah. So on the phone, they're a MagSafe specific case, so it still works through.
Awesome. That's cool though. I like that. I like that case. I still don't have the AirPods. I'm probably gonna have to do that at some point. I still use so I had an Android before, and as you know, I'm telling you guys that more than anything. But so I still use the Samsung Galaxy Pro Buds, the Pro 2s, I think is what they are, and they're great, but they don't have all the functionality, of course.
You know what I could let you do is these are the AirPod Pro 2s. I have the AirPod Pros on my desk right there.
Oh.
I could let you borrow them. They're a generation older than this. So it doesn't have a few of the new features of the tech inside them.
Okay.
Digital stuff, but it still is Apple specific. And they're pretty good. And the reason why I stopped using them is I got a really good deal on this through the educational program that we do with our homeschool stuff. But one of the ears, if I push on it a certain way, it has a little bit of a problem. But for you to just like test it and decide whether or not you want to go to the next level.
It's a fitment issue?
No, it's like when you push on it, the microphone makes almost like a snow noise, the noise
okay.
in just one ear. And Luisa's did the same thing, but on both of them. And she couldn't figure, and hers was way worse than mine. Mine is just when I put it in, I hear this noise. Hers, well, she'll have it in and it'll just all of a sudden do that
I'll be darned.
noise in there. But we've used the crap out of those things, like a lot. Anyway.
Sure. I've seen those new bone induction ones over at either Costco or Sam's Club. I can't remember.
I've tried a pair on once, and it must have been early generation stuff, but
Not great.
I didn't care for it.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of people swear by it. Yeah, it pushes against the bone back here and then on your temple. And so you're able to still hear everything going on. But something about how that sound kinetically transfers through your bones in your head, you can hear it.
Interesting.
Your inner ear picks it up.
Everybody I've talked to says the bass is terrible.
And that's what I'm concerned of. Is just like, I don't know how this is going to work when I want good quality sound.
Mm-hmm.
With these AirPods, though, they have the fit. You can change the different size of the little cones that go in your ear. And then they'll also do what's called a fit test, though. Because there's a microphone that faces
That's what
in
the Samsung
and a
ones do,
microphone
too.
that faces out. And so it senses from the outside ones whether or not the inside ones are hearing it.
Wondered how that did that.
By how the seal is on your
Okay.
ear.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, there's a few things I really miss, like the noise cancellation. The Samsung Buds will do that with the iPhone, but they're you have to do it with the actual earpiece itself. You can't do it on your phone. You can't control the buds at all with your phone if you're doing cross-platform stuff.
So Beats is now owned by, or has been for quite some time, owned
I
by
tried
Apple.
those. I didn't care for them. Did
And
you try them?
Beats, I haven't personally, but a lot of people love them.
I don't think you'll like them. I'm
But they
curious.
have all the same features that the Apple ones have, but it's
Do
just
they?
the Beats brand, and they do something different. We got our daughter a pair of the over-ear
Oh yeah.
headphones, and she loves them.
Yeah.
And it's got all the same noise cancellation, the microphone, all that stuff, and it's all controlled through the Apple interface because it's owned by.
You still can't beat over the ear stuff. So yeah, that's great. I got that. By the way, I got that that link you sent me for your flashlight.
Yeah.
Take a look at that. So
Yeah, we talked about that. In the
I've got
last
a bunch of
episode,
points at Cabela's. They've got some little flashlights over there. I was thinking about grabbing one of them.
Yeah, they might have it there.
See. But anyway.
Speaking of everyday carry, and then we can call this one short or talk about something else if you'd like. But
Okay.
figured I'd talk about two little things that I've got on my keychain here. It's kind of massive conglomerate, but I hate keys jingling around all over the place, and so I've got this thing. It's called a key bar, and it happens to have a clip on it so that it's just like a pocket knife, right? So I can slide it into my pocket, but my keys will flip in and around, so I can fan them out. It comes with a whole bunch of other accessories if I wanted to purchase them, so I could get a little mini pocket knife or a bottle opener or a toothpick or
Okay.
a lock pick or all these kinds of things. But the keys are just in there, and then I happen to choose the one that's got some nice brass material and then scroll work on there. But I love it because it's really strong and sturdy with this big old clip, and then I can treat it just like my pocket knife in my pocket and just slide it right in. But it's also got this little ring on it that allows me to hang anything else on it. So I've got my key fob on it for my truck, Ford truck, and I just put a silicone case over my key fob so that if it's dangling around, it's not beating the crap out of that plastic. And this really does a great job. I just bought that on Amazon. I got one for my wife. Hers is pink, so she knows which one is hers.
Oh,
And
that's
then we
cool.
got a gray one for the other car, which happens to be a Ford as well. So they look very similar. So mine's black, gray one for the Explorer, pink one for my wife's fob for my pickup.
Oh, that's cool.
And then lastly is the AirTag. But the AirTag is inside this little tool that I picked up from, so similar to your multi-tool,
Okay.
from a company called Uncrate. And the brand on this is called ATEC. And it says that right up there. The AirTag just is in this floating ring that is two plastic rings attached to each other. But then I've got a carabiner, I've got a bottle opener on here as well. And then this little thing here is a phone stand. So if I put my phone in this little divider, it will just
Oh, that's
prop
cool.
my phone up on the table or whatever.
How
I
cool
don't
is that?
use it that way, but now my AirTag is always with my keys, and I can just stick this in my pocket, and my key just hangs out the side of my pocket, and
That's cool.
I don't have to worry about it. But this key fob was quite the purchase. I really love this tool.
I was gonna say you should put that in the show notes.
I will.
Yeah.
I'll put the link to KeyBar and this specific one, but then you can go browse the site and see all of their extra little tools that they've got in there. They've got half bars, they've got full bars, other accessories that get attached to these things. And I'll also put a link to this little device. It can go on your backpack, it can go on another key ring, it can go on anything that you need your AirTag to, but it's also something that's practical as well.
I just got some of those AirTags, and I put them in. Thomas is carrying a wallet now, and Wyatt carries his little wallet. They're just like they're kind of like ours, except for they're
Yeah.
smaller and they're elastic. And
I was researching for the show notes, the Fidello that both of us have, and I went and put the older leather on because I had the one originally, remember, and then you and I were talking about it, you got me a gift, and my inner case was broken, so you just got me a new one. So I was like, oh, let me see what the old leather looks like. I was tinkering around on their website, which is an actual Amazon website. It's not, they don't have their own real
okay.
website right now.
just like an Amazon store. Okay.
They've got a version of this leather that actually has the AirTag opening on this, and it's stitched so it pops in from behind and shows through.
What?
But it's part of the Fidello. Yeah. So I actually reached out to them via Instagram. Instead of buying a brand new full kit, $30 with all the elastic bands, the
Yeah.
leather, and the insert, I just wanted just the black leather wrap. They have yet to respond to me. That was just today, but I'll let you know.
That is
But
so cool.
they have one that's like got a snap on it so that the air tag is loose on it and you could remove it if you wanted to. And I was like, that's dumb. 'Cause
Yeah,
it'll
I
just
would. Yeah.
pop off in my pocket. I don't want that. Or the one that's like integrated and there's like stitching around the leather around where the
Where it
air
would
tag
go.
pops out, and so you see the white or the chrome, whichever way you flip the air tag.
Well, of course you got to have the apple showing. Well, that'd be cool because here's exactly what mine
Yeah,
looks
'cause
like.
yours just
It looks
sticks
like
out like
looks
a-
like a big
Nubbins.
nubbin. Yeah, I've got my little nubbin there. So anyway, yeah, that's cool.
Anyway, so it's interesting that the advancements that some of these companies have
That's great. Yeah.
since we've like purchased early generation ones of these, and now they're growing, and so they do stuff.
Don't let the old man catch you.
Don't let the old man catch you.
But you know, the funny thing is I just barely got into these air tags, and I'm trying to learn them desperately, like how they work, and I just realized that they rely, so they're not their own standalone GPS.
No.
They rely on other iPhones around them.
Yep, they utilize the mesh network of all of the Wi-Fi,
I had no
cell
idea.
phones, iPads, other key tags, and it's utilizing the network. So I found that out the hard way. Not only, okay, so this was the technology that was originally introduced by Tile, a company called Tile.
Okay.
And they had these little square tiles. It was white, and it would just hang from your key tag.
Sure.
I got those Gen 1, like very, very beginning. No one else had them. And cell phones weren't even as prominent, and it just did nothing for me. I got 3 of them, one for me, one for my wife, and so she could put something else on. Did nothing, because when you went to go relocate it, or if you misplaced something, it couldn't figure out where it was.
Right.
So I believe the same thing is true for these air tags, that you have to be in a generally populated area,
Yeah.
or be close enough to cell towers that it can see that as a beacon.
Yeah.
My dogs ran out, and I've got dog collars that have the air tags built into the tag, and I've got one on Jameson and one on Cowboy. Went to go find it because they took off and I didn't see where they went.
Okay.
It didn't work.
No.
They couldn't find them because they went running down the canal,
Yep.
and there's nothing over there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had to pound foot and just keep looking for them.
They'll give you an idea of where you left it, like if it's your wallet.
They're
or
like,
your,
oh, the last notified location
Right.
was your front yard. I'm like, thanks, guys.
Yeah, appreciate that. Now I have to walk all around my whole property trying to get within Bluetooth range.
However, I have used it when they won't shut up from barking. You can play a sound on the thing, and it's pretty loud. The dogs can obviously hear it.
I haven't got
And
mine
they
to work that way
they
either,
stopped.
but that's, I mean, you got to be within range, right, to make that happen.
No.
No.
It has to have signal of some kind.
Oh.
Whether that's Wi-Fi or other phones around, and you can ping off. Like, you don't know that. That's all behind the scenes. But yeah, you play a sound.
Proprietary stuff. Yeah.
And I've used it, and so my kids used it. Like, Jenna left her keys at work one day in her locker, and she got it back out to the car. And it's like, it wasn't her keys, it was her wallet. Where's my wallet? So she didn't play the sound, but she used the like tracking feature in it, where
Yeah.
it tells you how close you are away. And it told her where it was, and then she got back into the building and didn't remember where it was. And so she kind of just like walked around like a metal detector trying to find it, and it says you're getting warmer,
Yeah, yeah.
5 feet, 3
Oh.
feet, 2 feet, and then it'll play a sound, and it had fallen behind something in a normal location that it would have been, and so she played the sound and she found it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was just a little surprised by that. I thought, well, they'd just be like a standalone GPS thing, but they're not. So it's good to know. It's good to remember. So, when you're not going to find, if it's not something that's on your person, like your dogs, there is a possibility you're not going to find it. So.
One last piece, I mentioned it, but I couldn't get it out of my wallet last time, is
Oh, yeah.
a challenge coin. And I purchased 5 coins, one for myself and one for my wife and my 3 kids. And I chose them very specifically for what was on these coins. And it's just meant to be kind of a little private thing. The
Yeah.
Boy Scouts back in the day when I was young, they gave you a BSA coin.
Sure.
And Baden Powell, the founder of the Boy Scouts, had this little thing that says you start out your morning with your coin in your left pocket, and by the end of the night, that coin better be in your right pocket. And the way that it travels from left to right is when you do a good turn, because that's the motto, do a good turn daily.
Mm-hmm.
You don't tell anyone that you did that good turn. You don't tell anyone that you did that good thing for somebody walking grandma across the street with her groceries. You just take the coin out of your pocket of your left and you just put it in your right pocket. So I kind of let that challenge to my kids a little bit, but mostly what's being said on these challenge coins is more about who I see them as people and seem to be adults, and I want them to remember those things. So it's similar to this faith and philosophy that we were talking about before. It's little things to remember. So this company is called EDC Coins, and a lot of what they've got has Latin on them. So
Okay.
half of mine says Latin on one side and English on the other.
Well, that's cool.
So this one happens to be very nautical in its form. So you can kind of see in the reflection there, that's an anchor. And in the background, you can, is like it's all the way down at the bottom, and there's, the bottom of the ocean. So there's all a bunch of things on there. And around the outside, this one says, it's not over when you lose. It's over when you quit. Motivational.
That's awesome.
On the other side, still related to the nautical theme, is a ship in a tempest ocean, but has a sun and some scrolly work back there. And it doesn't look like it's focusing. Sorry about that. There we go.
Get some light on. There you go.
Yeah. This one is in Latin, and it says, Nulla tenace in via est via. But what that means is, for the tenacious, nothing is impassable. And so that means a lot to me, is I just got to keep on doing. Don't quit,
Yeah.
And so they're very related to each other, the statements on each side.
Yeah.
So my wife's is one that's very specific to family, and it's got on one side, it's got a big old tree, but it's made out of hands. So you can kind of see, it looks like an oak tree, but it's all a bunch of hands. And it says, family is everything on one side, and then it says something about a family bond, or I can't remember exactly. But each of my 3 kids, I gave them something different as well. And so I had this in my pocket until it started dinging around against my cell phone case and screen, and I didn't want to scratch. So it's in my wallet now, and that reminded me of the AirTag, because it's a similar shape. So I just kind of tuck it into this band right here, and it just stays in my pocket at all times.
Oh, cool.
Anyway, EDC Coins.
There
For
you go.
anyone who wants to go check that out, maybe give that a gift or just get something for yourself. Little personal reminders. There's a lot of military-based ones, the One Lobby,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
all that.
I think even the
stuff.
SEALs give out a challenge coin.
Yeah, so that's a really big thing for all military branches and even first responders,
Okay.
fire and police. They have their own coin system, and then they
I've
use
got
it
one.
in a different way.
I've got one I'll have to bring you.
They give
Law enforcement.
They give coins to people, specifically when somebody does something that really either catches their attention, or it's above and beyond, or they heroism, or they've reached a certain rank, they're awarded a given something, and then sometimes it's just being there at the right time at the right place. And
I got mine after I went to the police academy. We got our challenge coins. I'll hopefully I can find it. If
I designed some challenge coins for some of the jobs that I've had in the past as well. Of course, never got one, but
Yeah.
I designed it.
Yeah.
I've designed one for a gentleman who's a client, but also a very close friend who used to be a police officer, and before that was in the Navy. And so we designed one for his canine team over there. I do have one of those somewhere. But they come in all
there's canine
shapes
ones
and
for sure.
shapes and colors, and
Yep.
they've got bottle opener ones and all this kind of
Mine
stuff.
has the Bonneville County seal on it for the Bonneville County Sheriff's Department, and then it has the Bonneville County badge on it. So it kind of looks like a badge, but it's a coin, and it's colored.
Yeah.
So, And then I got a 5-year pin from the county and everything. So
I've
my good old law
seen
enforcement days.
some military personnel do a coin check or a pocket check. And if you don't have it with you, then you get penalized. But if you do, then you swap them with somebody.
Oh yeah,
And so it's kind of like an honor thing, but
Sure.
also a shame thing at the same time. So if you don't have one with you, then you got to do like 50 push-ups or something stupid.
yeah.
Or get
And
iced.
it's not the physical punishment that counts. It's the mental damage that
Yep.
that happens from not having that with you.
Yeah.
So, well, Aaron, it's been real. This has been a good one today. I appreciate you sharing your feelings with me. I've gone through very similar things, so you're going to be in my prayers. I feel for you.
Thank you. I don't mean to be so
No.
vulnerable, but at the same time, I think that, pardon me, who are we if we aren't real?
Absolutely. This is all about. This is all about.
So that still lays out the challenge, pardon the challenge coin comment, but the challenge to our viewers as well is love to hear your comments, love to hear,
Yeah.
send us a video recording or drop us a note in either Instagram or on YouTube as well. But
Yeah.
we don't have it all put together, Paul and I. We're not here to tell you what to do or how to do it. But we're
Here to remind you that friends can talk and be productive.
You said it better than I could just then, so
Yeah.
thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yep. And we'll let you get back to your evening and back onto the road, so to speak. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share as well. Remember to hit that bell so that if we publish another video, that it will notify you that it's out. And again, send us some comments. You can also follow us on Instagram, the Blue Collar American Show at Instagram.com. And we look forward to putting out another video soon as well.
Absolutely.
All right, until next time, I'm Aaron.
And Paul, thanks so much for joining us.
Have a good evening. Bye-bye.